Ciudad Juarez. This is the most violent place in Mexico. Last February, unknown assailants opened fire on 2 policemen. The exact circumstances remain unclear. This crime reporter goes from one location to the next. There is plenty happening on his particular beat. Unfortunately, the victims are 2 policemen. One has been seriously wounded and is in critical condition. The other one is dead, killed on the main strip. In Ciudad Juarez, the murder of policemen is commonplace. Here, when nothing happens overnight, it's called a white night. But since the beginning of the year, there hasn't been one single white night. Throughout the night, there is a stream of live reports from one shooting incident to the next. In the hospital, the wounded policeman hovers between life and death. Outside, 2 of his colleagues stand watch. He's stable. I'm not sure how many bullets he took, but he's stable. He took at least 4 or 5. This 19-year-old woman has just joined the police force. Her partner was the officer who was seriously wounded. Are your colleagues often killed? The policeman did not survive. 2 days later, he's buried with full honors. In his family's car, they're playing his favorite music. But the ceremony is tense because the man they're burying was not an ordinary policeman. He does leave behind a family. And his widow does receive a posthumous medal, as in accordance to tradition, do all the families of slain officers. And he does get the final tribute. But those closest to him don't want to answer our questions. Only this man agrees to speak. Had he been threatened? No, it was a surprise. But it happens all the time in Ciudad Juarez. There are surprises every day. Just as surprising, maybe, the music chosen by his family. It appears that the policeman who has just been honored was involved in drugs, and his murder was a settling of scores. Nowadays in Mexico, the police cause more concern than reassurance. Mexico, a population of 107 million, and the link between the United States and Latin America. And now the cornerstone of drug trafficking, as producers in Colombia supply consumers in the United States. Cannabis is also grown in the country. In less than 10 years, the cartels have created a huge drug industry. From small-time operators to hitmen and smugglers, an estimated 100,000 people are believed to be working for them. In an effort to eradicate the problem, Mexican President Felipe Calderón declared war on the traffickers in December 2007. My government is resolved with the support and help of the police and armed forces of Mexico to fight organized crime and all outlaws. The Mexican government has declared all-out war against the cartels. The level of violence is extraordinary. Last year, more than 5,000 people were killed in the country, of which 600 were policemen and military. The numbers of those arrested has risen dramatically. You were in prison in the USA for 3 years? 5 years. 5 years? For what offense? Selling drugs. You were known as the Indian? No, as the devil in the United States. Mexicans have had enough. At this university, the students protest against the level of violence. We need to fight without arrogance. We need to fight for peace. The violence touches them all. In this class, when the professor asks who has seen a dead person on the streets, the response is unequivocal. We're even too scared to call the police, because they may be mixed up in all this bloodshed. The police has been increasingly infiltrated and corrupted by the cartels. In just 1 year, 40 senior officers have been arrested, including one of the leaders of the country's main anti-drug squads, who received bribes of $450,000 a month in return for tipping off the traffickers. When the police do face off with the cartels, this is what happens to them. The story deals with how the scourge of corruption has eaten away at the ranks of the Mexican police. Through Jose Reyes, who is one mayor who refuses to let his town succumb to the corrupt. We have to make sure organized crime doesn't infiltrate to the level of government. It's a matter of national security for Mexico. Through Enrique, who is incorruptible, his mission to track down policemen who are less scrupulous. Sir, we need to check your car, please. Through Hector, who is a reporter photographer and tells of a police force that no longer plays its true role, while the number of dead continues to stack up. We were at 112 yesterday, 114 including them this month. Through Fidel, who is a big star in Mexico. His songs glorify those who defy the police, the drug traffickers. His music is for them. The best clients are those who might be involved in trafficking drugs. And today, the music in Mexico is about warfare. We pick up the story in Ciudad Juarez, a city that is the most corrupt in Mexico. 1 million inhabitants, some very poor areas and dozens of small factories that produce goods for their American neighbor a short distance away. On the other side of the concrete barrier which runs through the middle of this built-up area is El Paso in Texas. Ciudad Juarez is the busiest port of entry into the United States. The traffic jam marks the border crossing between the two countries. It is obviously a strategic point for the Mexican drug dealers. It marks the main access to the US drug market. As a result, the Sinaloa drug cartel from western Mexico has decided to eliminate the local border cartel and become the country's main trafficker. For more than a year, the city has witnessed a gang war without pity, in which the police have played an ambiguous role. So far this year, 1,600 people have been killed in the streets of Ciudad Juarez. On this particular day, there was a murder just 30 minutes earlier. In the streets, dozens of people knew that something was going down. At the time of the murder, everyone had gone back home from work or from school. We just heard some gunfire. What was your reaction? Well, I was scared. Well, what did you think at the time? I thought they'd killed someone. Is that the first time? No, the third time. Over how long? In less than a day. It's February, and in the city, the war between the two gangs is claiming 10 lives a day. Hector Dea is a photojournalist covering the local news. There's been another murder in another area. Okay, check it out and let me know if I need to head over. That's just happened? Okay, understood. We've been here for just 20 minutes and it's already started up again. It never seems to end. I've got a mobile office. Faced with so many murders to cover, Hector's had to learn to react quickly. I'll send these off to the paper via the internet, and that way I can go and see the other victim. If I had to return to the office each time, I'd never catch up with the latest murder. So I just do this in the streets with a wireless connection. Each day brings a different story, and some are particularly shocking, as was the case the day before. 5 gunmen opened fire on this guy who was in a mortuary looking after his brother's body. He died instantly, and they even shot up the coffin. They shot a dead man? At the guy who was dead and at the one who was alive. The police removed the corpse less than 30 minutes after the killing. This is a town where such bloodshed is routine. You see, everything's back to normal. The kids will walk right past the spot where someone's just been killed. Mothers and their kids pass the very spot where there's just been an execution. The dead were targeted in a settling of old scores between dealers. There's no time to philosophize, as Hector has work to do. This morning alone, he's photographed 3 bodies in 3 different locations. There's more than just dead bodies in this city. There's drugs too, and lots of them. This is one of the smarter parts of town. The police are swarmed all over this house, and for once, they're not looking for murder suspects. According to the law enforcers, drug traffickers were using this kitchen just 2 hours earlier. The traffickers apparently fled just before the police arrived. But they left behind huge quantities of marijuana. The public prosecutor is on site. She's counting. 86, is that right? Yeah, 87. The count takes 20 minutes. Altogether, there's 676 kilos of marijuana with a street value of 2 million euros. It's a major coup for the police, and one they proudly show off in front of the TV news crews. But the lady prosecutor is less forthcoming when it comes to explaining their success. Well, during a routine patrol, the officers saw some people behaving suspiciously, carrying packages. The patrol approached, and the people went inside the house. But they weren't able to arrest them because they got out through the back. So they fled. Yes, they escaped. You couldn't catch them? No, we couldn't. So it would appear to be just a matter of luck that a routine patrol stumbled upon such a large haul. Not a very lucid explanation, and the prosecutor refuses to answer any more questions. It's almost impossible to know how the police really work. On the other hand, the police are only too willing to allow the cameras to film their pride and joy. An amazing strong room in which is stored all the drugs seized in Ciudad Juarez. This represents 2 months' worth. 7 tons of marijuana, a lot of cocaine, and weapons. It's quite a collection. But it is all we are allowed to film of the police force in Ciudad Juarez. In this city, the police are hardly known for their transparency. They're better known, in fact, for the way they threaten journalists. This is the newspaper where Hector, the photojournalist who covers all the murders, works. He is all too familiar with police methods here. Sometimes, when you're out working on your own, the police arrest you and rough you up. They'll probably let you go, but the damage has been done. So we usually prefer to work in groups, so that if something happens to one of us, a colleague will take pictures to protect him. The police are almost as scary as the drug traffickers. The proof lies in Hector's photographs. He has thousands showing murder victims. Most are so gruesome they have never been published. It's a horrific display. The worst are those who have been decapitated, or who are missing arms, legs, hands, parts of the bodies, or cut up into bits without their heads, mutilated. You've seen all that? Of course. I can show you. And surprisingly, the worst excesses are not carried out on the victims of rival gangs, settling scores. This list with the names of policemen are probably people who have been killed or who have been targeted. There are lots of names of police on the list. And this severed head belongs to a lieutenant. This incredible list is a virtual death sentence for police officers that have yet to choose sides in the bitter gang wars. Ciudad Juarez Airport, where Hector is photographing airplanes. It makes a change from corpses. The Mexican government has taken the radical step of sending in the army to the city. It's the only force considered to be irreproachable. Throughout Mexico, a total of 45,000 troops have been deployed in the fight against the cartels since December 2007. That's them in those green trucks down there. In a matter of days, 7,000 soldiers are dispatched to Ciudad Juarez. They'll camp out in the stadiums or on wasteland. In front of City Hall, which is very well protected, the mayor announces to the media the troops are on their way. They're coming to help back up the municipal police. Once the police have been strengthened, they'll be able to return to their bases. In how many months? Well, that remains to be seen. Jose Reyes is in for a tough day. Journalists from the world over want to speak with him. You're much in demand at the moment. Well, the situation in Ciudad Juarez is big news, not just here, but throughout the world. We have to make sure organized crime doesn't infiltrate to the level of government. It's a matter of national security for Mexico, and obviously for the rest of the world too. The journalists are eager to speak with him. He is, after all, one of the few politicians in Mexico willing to admit the extent the police have been infected by the cartels. The municipal police have been infiltrated for a very long time. Later, they want to rise up through the ranks, from the municipal police and then into the national police. They've succeeded quite well, and their next goal is to influence the people at the highest levels. It's clearly the objective the cartels have set themselves. We mustn't let them achieve this. But maybe it's something they have already achieved. The mayor of Ciudad Juarez no longer trusts the local police to protect his life. From his window, he has a magnificent view over a city that is much more peaceful than his own, El Paso, in the United States. And the local papers have reported that every evening the Mexican mayor crosses the border in order to sleep in safety, protected by the American police. It's no coincidence that he'd rather sleep in the United States. Jose Reyes has been threatened by the cartels that say they will decapitate him. As a result, he's under constant protection. 7 bodyguards and an armored convoy that is heavily armed. But Jose Reyes won't be intimidated. I have to live my life and continue to be mayor. You've never thought of resigning? No, I never think about that at all. I just don't see that as an option. His goal is to clean up the police, and in 2 years he's fired 600 suspect officers. He's launched a recruiting campaign in town on advertising billboards like these. Other advertisements call on the citizens to pray for the salvation of Juarez. The situation is close to desperation. This patrol car, riddled with bullets, belonged to the second-in-command of the Juarez Municipal Police Force. Nominated by the mayor, he was heavily involved in the struggle to eradicate corruption. He was the third reputedly incorruptible high-ranking police officer to be assassinated in 2 years by the cartels in Juarez. To fully understand how the Mexican government is attempting to stamp out corruption in the police, one has to visit Guadalajara, the country's second largest city. Here there are no gang wars as in Ciudad Juarez. There are no murders on the streets, no violence. Instead, you see well-to-do and image-conscious neighborhoods. In Guadalajara, Macedonio Tamés Guajardo heads up the police's police force. His team of incorruptible untouchables is out to clean up the city. Like all true untouchables, he never goes out without his bulletproof vest. How do you protect yourself? Well, several ways. Firstly, in an armored car, like other police chiefs. And I'm always armed, and I have my bulletproof vest. I'm not really this fat, and I'm used to it now. I'm telling you all this because this will be shown in France. I wouldn't disclose this much if it was for Mexico. Despite the outward calm, the cartels are certainly present in Guadalajara. One theory, and it's just a theory, please note, since I have no contact with these people, is that they send their families here. Their kids go to university here, they come shopping here, and go to the malls. And the climate is great here too. Like other newly appointed senior policemen, the president of Mexico himself nominated Macedonio Tamés 1 year ago. All the men in his team were specially selected after psychological tests, their moral standing, and with a background in law or psychology or in the social sector. The 88 policemen in his squad are reportedly the best in town. Tamés has been given the means to fight corruption among Guadalajara's 3,200 police, such as this control room where all of the city's 550 squad cars can be monitored. On their screen, the untouchables can look for any suspicious movements by their colleagues. Recently, 35 of the squad cars were equipped with small surveillance cameras, which relay the interior and immediate surroundings of the car. The entire mission is recorded and then checked. It sometimes makes for surprising viewing. This video shows a blatant case of corruption. In exchange for a small amount of cocaine, the officer lets the dealer go free. There is resistance to change here. One patrol covered the camera with a pullover, but they forgot about the sound, so we were still able to listen in to everything that was happening. But the police in Mexico have become so used to their scams and getting away with them, they have no hesitation in destroying the small cameras. It's the rear camera. It's been unscrewed. It's lopsided. They've cut the cable. This one's missing the fuse. And this is the GPS, which they've removed. The cameras have their limitations. The most effective method is for the police's police to get out on the streets. Enrique, Macedonio's number 2, is in charge. Well, we need to agree what the plan is. Is the mission ready? Yes, we've been watching all the units. Before leaving, Enrique, who will be out in the field, wants to make a point of showing what happens to any policeman he catches breaking the law. This officer has tried to sneak off with some stolen property. The controller tells him, "You know what? Take off your uniform. Take off your gun. Give me your revolver, because you are under arrest." It's extreme, but an example has to be made. The incorruptible sense of humor is extreme too. This wanted poster is for someone that's been very hard to find in Mexico, an honest policeman. There are 2 patrol cars, but Enrique and his men prefer the anonymity of unmarked vehicles. But Enrique has been spotted almost as soon as he leaves. We'll go to Zone 1, because here in Zone 5 they've already seen us, and they'll be expecting us. So we'll move. A few kilometers further on, Enrique sees a likely target. I'm going to do a check. Enrique, the untouchable, is never very popular. He knows that he and his team will almost certainly come across police corruption this evening. Somewhere in the state of Sinaloa is the heart of Mexico's drug trafficking. Fidel Rueda is a popular singer, and he's on a tour of the region. He has a style of music all his own. His songs glorify the drug barons.
Bueno, jefe, estoy aquí en Chicago. No hay que temer a la muerte, que al cabo no somos nada. Un brindis por las mujeres y amigos de la paseada.
The police have long since lost the popularity contest in Mexico. Fidel Rueda prefers to rave about the drug lords. Destination Durango, a town in the middle of nowhere, and Fidel Rueda's next concert. It's a rural area with a low standard of living. It's in the heartlands of Mexico. All is fine. It was a long journey. The singer is well liked here, and more surprisingly, his songs about the drug traffickers are extremely popular, as his meeting with fans proves. Fidel, age 25, starts by playing the bad boy. It's tequila. Long live Durango. Open your little mouth. You like stories about the drug traders? Yes, I find them attractive. And why is that? I like it a lot. But why? I don't know, I find it attractive. Guns and all of that. And police stories? Yes? What about drugs? No, I don't like that part of it. Such is his popularity that he sells tens of thousands of records in both Mexico and the United States. A success that is based on his demonic lifestyle. Even if he denies it officially, Fidel Rueda has close links to the drug barons, close enough to be invited to sing at their private parties. What's it like when there's a party at a drug lord's? People like that send lots of people to come and pick you up, and they won't tell you where it is. What about security? Yeah, there's lots of security, like everywhere. There has to be security. But what's the most amazing thing about these parties? Well, it's nice, the decorations they use. But what particularly about them? It's just nice to see them, how they dance, using horses, and there's a lot of very good food too. Fidel Rueda performs about 150 concerts a year all over Mexico. His songs are known as narco corridos, the drug lord's ballads. Some of his music is banned on the radio, and his last concert in Guadalajara was cancelled on orders from the mayor. Good evening, Durango. But in Durango, a stronghold of the traffickers, Fidel Rueda will enthrall his audience. In front of the 6,000 spectators, the song quite openly tells of a shipment of drugs to the United States and celebrates the culture of drug trafficking. Fidel Rueda lives up to his reputation as a popular and caustic singer. It's his trademark, and he plays it to the max. They've come from France! They've come from France! His songs are barely legal, and Fidel Rueda lives on the razor's edge. One lyric too far, and he will be banned altogether. And in fact, the authorities have charged him after police found his name engraved on a gold-plated revolver among his entourage. The singer calls a press conference to try and explain the incident. Hi guys. Can you keep my keys? The venue is a trendy restaurant in Guadalajara. The singer has invited all of the country's TV networks.
Relajado. De hecho, esa arma yo nunca la he tenido en mis manos.
I never even touched this weapon. I have no idea why it has my name on it. Fidel Rueda has asked his lawyer along to help. It was a gift from someone. But who gave it to you? To be honest, I have no idea who the person was who had the gun. I've never seen him before in my life. But the journalists haven't finished yet. They ask him about some weapons that were found in a house that he owns. I have no house here, not that belongs to me anyway. I have no idea what house you're talking about. There were papers, and a lot of cash, and 3 rifles and 3 guns. It's on National and Huaraca Street. I don't have a house there. But the papers had your name on them, official documents. The matter is far from clear, but the journalists' questions do not appear to ruffle Fidel Rueda's feathers. In fact, they only seem to encourage him. Do you carry weapons? Do you have a permit? No, I can't. It's illegal. But if I did have a permit, then I would have a gun. What with all the insecurity there is around here? Pushing the envelope is at the root of the singer's success. The journalists are all given a copy of his latest album when they leave. Fidel Rueda may not personally own a house, but he does live in an attractive villa in one of the best parts of town. The singer is discreet about how much he earns, but judging from the house in which he lives with his family, business must be good. Most of his repertoire is love songs that have nothing to do with violence. But Fidel is currently working on a special commission, a song he will soon perform in front of the bodyguards of a drugs godfather. First verse. They call me the cat. It's my code name. My job is to protect the boss. Nothing stops me, even if I have to kill. They call, you talk to them, and they explain what they want so I can get some ideas. A singer writing for the hired guns. Fidel Rueda goes even further and talks openly about his admiration for the drugs lords. Let me tell you something. The best clients are those who might be involved in drug trafficking. There's respect to be given to people who are in danger, who risk their lives. You admire this sort of person because they keep working, even if the authorities are against them, even if they're outlaws. They keep going. In my opinion, they're the best customers. And they're the ones that pay the most for my music. The hit parade and the drug trade seem to make a good mix. Corrupted by drug money or simply a cynical opportunist, Fidel Rueda has chosen which side he is on. But there are some in Mexico who remain unbowed, who refuse to be ruled by organized crime, and who will never glorify the drug barons. These are people who risk their lives. Carlos Huerta is a journalist. He's another of the untouchables. Every morning before heading out, he puts on his bulletproof vest. Once again, this is Ciudad Juarez, the most crime-ridden city in Mexico. A city where reporting about the police can damage your health. Have you ever been threatened? Yes, death threats from people who rung me and said they were from the Federation, a group of cartels from Sinaloa.
Estaba conformada por varios cárteles de Sinaloa.
In Juarez, the cartels don't take kindly to those who want to expose police corruption. Carlos Huerta knows their threats are not to be taken lightly. We covered the deaths of 2 policemen shot dead in the streets of Ciudad Juarez. That was the last time I saw Armando. Armando Carreon was a journalist. Last November, he was executed as he took his daughter to school. Along with Carlos, he was investigating the death of the 2 crooked police officers. The police have since made no effort to find those responsible. And neither have they tried to track down those who threatened Carlos. He lives in constant fear for himself and his family. Because of the danger in Ciudad Juarez, my children are in El Paso, across the border in Texas.
El Paso, Texas. Ellos viven allá.
I only see them on weekends.
Vamos por ellos los fines de semana.
Nevertheless, Carlos continues to work and trying to live as normal a life as possible. When he gets to his newspaper, the Diario del Norte, he can finally remove his bulletproof vest. It's heavy and uncomfortable. I only wear it when I'm outside. Since the death of the journalist, the staff of the newspaper has imposed self-censorship. There are no more investigations into police corruption, and articles on the gang wars have no byline. It's just awful that your wife, your kids, and your parents keep telling you to stop, that it's too dangerous. But to be honest, being a journalist is what I really want to do, they say, and let's hope that the threats will not be carried out. The editor has banned his journalists from going out to report after 10 o'clock at night. And yet Carlos has donned his bulletproof vest to go out and check another murder near a police station. Despite the risk, he refuses to be intimidated by violence. A few days later, however, he will change his mind. Meanwhile, in Guadalajara, the night shift of another set of untouchables is getting ready for work. Enrique's team have noticed a police car acting suspiciously.
Jefe, este es el reporte que hicieron.
Listen, boss, we have to inspect your car.
Por favor.
A dozen policemen will check just 2 officers with a fine-tooth comb. Have a look around, will you? Okay. In the land of the drug trade, the squad naturally has a sniffer dog.
Sácalo.
4 officers rummage through the car for 15 minutes, and finally it's an apparently insignificant object that catches their attention. A beer. Oh, what's this then? No, we just got in the car. So you didn't check it then? No, we just got in and left straight away. The can of beer will be used in evidence, as it can be used for extorting the public. This is the way it works. He opens up the can of beer and says, "I'm going to arrest you for drink driving on a public highway." That's how they work the scam. The officers sometimes have a small quantity of drugs, and when they run a check on someone, they put it in their pocket and then accuse them of possession. Any kind of weapon, a baseball bat, anything that can be used to attack people or is illegal can be used for scamming the public. That's what they do. That's what it's all about for them on patrol. Anyone found with drugs is let go in exchange for a bribe, and they keep the drugs to blackmail others. Which is why people complain that they're innocent, that they were clean, but were arrested anyway.
Se quejan los ciudadanos de que pues si ellos no traían, no cometieron ninguna falta y los están remitiendo.
The salary of the Mexican police is among the lowest in the country, the equivalent of 600 euros a month. It's one reason they resort to extortion. During their 6-hour shift, Enrique and his men will inspect 8 patrol cars. Can I inspect your vehicle once you've finished doing what you were doing? Just routine. I don't think so. Another car? No? Come and look. Have we done something to upset you? No, nothing at all. It's nothing to do with anything, so stop that. I don't know what to say. What have we done wrong? I'd like to check out the car. Yeah, but I don't see why. Does it bother you? Does it bother me? Of course, it's like they don't trust you. My work, or what I'm doing. And imagine what everyone will be saying. Well, you wouldn't have anything illegal in the car, would you? If you're unhappy, call your superior. In any case, we're going to search the car. It's your work tool, and we'll inspect it. We have a specialist team with us. The policemen are reluctant to have their car searched. They want to check those who are meant to be checking them. Who's your boss? I'd like to see his police ID if you don't mind. What's your job? It's down there, my friend. Roberto Arias, service number 5. And that's my commander. What about yours? It's in the bag. Yeah, mine's in my bag too. Roberto what? Arias. Can I check your ID? They each size each other up. The reticence of the policemen who are being checked will soon be explained. Does this inspection bother you? Nope, not in the slightest. Everything all right? Excellent. Looks great to me. Well, maybe not that great. It's a tube to smoke cocaine crystals. A small tube made from a part of a car's antenna. It's something that shouldn't be here. The 2 policemen have called their boss, who arrives to back up his men. They found a tube and a lighter. So why don't you give us a dope test to see if we've taken any drugs? We don't take that stuff. We don't doubt it. We're just checking the car. But the local police chief doesn't approve of his men being searched. A lighter's not forbidden. But the problem is that your man didn't want us to search him. He wanted to see our warrant. We don't need one. It's our right to search. We're within our rights.
Es un equipo de trabajo de la unidad y la unidad legalmente, claro que sí, entonces puede revisar, era la inconformidad. Eso es lo malo.
Well, if you'd found any drugs or anything like that, there's no way they'll allow themselves to be intimidated by the search. The police chief tries to save face as best as he can. I suggest you should search the car before taking it out. You forgot the beer under the seat that belonged to someone who was arrested. What if you'd had an accident? The media would arrive and take a photo of the bottle of beer and say you'd been drinking, even though it wasn't true. The remarks that were made were correct. You need to thoroughly search the vehicle before you take it out. The untouchables have to let the two policemen go on their way, as no drugs were found in the car. But before they leave, they lecture the two men. They need to check the state of the cameras inside the car, and these ones are broken. So let me ask you, who's going to pay for them? We've already reported it. Okay. Last year in Guadalajara, Enrique found drugs in 109 patrol cars. 3 policemen were sent to jail. Enrique and his men have their work cut out. Back in Juarez on the border with the United States. Here, corruption has decreased since the army took over from the police the task of inspecting vehicles entering Mexico. A sign of hope, according to this man who regularly crosses the border, relieved to be searched by a soldier and not by a policeman. What's going on, sir? Well, they usually want money when we cross over. When we arrive in Juarez, the police ask for money. Last Christmas, they took my car, they took my mother's jewelry, and that's why I tell them not to leave, to stay and protect us. It's just a terrible situation here. They need to help us. May the Lord protect you. In Juarez, everyone is looking to God for protection, because the war between the rival cartels shows no sign of abating. On May the 1st, a record 12 people were killed in one day. There have been 600 deaths so far this year alone. We catch up with Carlos Huerta, the journalist who's received death threats for investigating a corrupt police force. He complained about the threats 3 months ago and called for an inquiry. But oddly, none has been forthcoming. Whenever there's a crime, it's like someone has waved a magic wand and made all the police disappear. Everyone's noticed that. People who commit crimes simply walk away because they know they won't be arrested. Carlos is in a difficult situation. He's not the only one that has been targeted. The last thing they told me was not to play with fire, otherwise I would get killed, or I would never see my children again. Carlos has heeded the warnings. During the week, his kids live and go to school in El Paso, the town in the US just across the border. On the weekends, they return here to Ciudad Juarez, but it's not enough to reassure his family. Sometimes I don't want to come back, I'm so scared. Scared of what? Scared that one day I'll be killed or that they might do something. Carlos's wife says she can't carry on like this. I've asked him to quit his job, to find something else, something different altogether.
Hacer un cambio radical.
Now the family has decided to remain full-time in the relative safety of the United States, just a few kilometers away. Such is the dire situation in Ciudad Juarez that even Carlos, who was so attached to his job, is now considering leaving the country. I'm asking for a journalist visa this month, with a view to settling over there. To win the war against the drug cartels, Mexico will first need to stamp out corruption among the police and hope for help from its American neighbor, the world's largest consumer of drugs.